Drivers cannot drive in bicycle lanes except when you need to turn or when you're entering or exiting a parking spot. Bicycle lanes are painted in the curved lane of the road with bicycle-shaped design and street signal. A diamond mark in the road can mean that a lane is specific for bicycles or other vehicles. Drivers need to be cautious when driving their bicycles because they do not have brake lights to warn you when they are stopping. Cyclists may not notice you when you open your car door after parking, so always check for a cyclist who may ride up beside your vehicle. Be sure to shoulder check when turning right for a cyclist in your blind spot.
Always make sure you yield to pedestrians. Pedestrians always have the right of way, and make sure you watch for pedestrians on left and right turns on green and red lights.
Rules for motorcycles. Never share a lane with a motorcyclist. Be aware that motorcyclists will often move in their lane to avoid road hazards. When behind a motorcyclist, allow extra space between you and them because motorcyclists can stop very quickly. Be aware that poor driving conditions can make a motorcyclist lose control. Motorcyclists tend to stay in the left portion of their lane even if they aren't turning left. The left signal light can be difficult to see, so be sure to watch for them doing any shoulder checks or any other indication that they may be turning.
Emergency stopping lanes on highways are sometimes referred to as the shoulder and are only used for emergencies for the emergency vehicles and if you have your car broken down. When an emergency vehicle approaches you in any direction and is sounding its sirens, it is mandatory for you to safely move your vehicle so that the emergency vehicle may pass you. On a two-way roadway, drive as closely as possible to the right of the curb or the edge of the roadway. You must stop until the emergency vehicle has passed you. You should stay 150 meters away from the emergency vehicle when following behind and when its sirens are operating.
Snowplows. You need to be very careful when you're driving behind a snowplow because snowplows will sometimes stop because they have to pick up more snow. You also don't want to drive beside snowplows because your vehicle will get covered by the snow. And you don't want to drive in front of snowplows because if the snowplow speeds up, you are in danger. Always make sure that you can see the snowplow because they flash their big yellow light when it's foggy outside or if it's during a snowstorm.
Rules for funeral processions. When driving in a funeral procession, you may pass through an intersection without stopping. The same goes for stop signs. You must have your headlights on, and you may only proceed if you are following directly behind the person in front of you. You may not pass through a funeral procession because they have the right of way.
For railway crossings, never try to outrace a train to a crossing. Trains need a very long distance to come to a stop. Always yield to trains. A white X marking on the road indicates the approaching of a railway crossing. Red and white signs shaped as an X indicate that the driver must yield to all trains. Railway warning signs will also have a stop sign, bells, or gates and lights. If your vehicle stalls on a railway crossing, get everyone out of the car and away from the track immediately. Stop signs on a railway sign requires the driver to come to a complete stop between 5 meters and 15 meters from the nearest railway.
Log haul vehicles. Log haul vehicles may sway hard when they turn, so following behind them may be highly risky as they may lose logs, so be careful when following them. Also, remember that they have very big blind spots and it's hard to see them when you're passing.
Rules for buses. When you approach a school bus going from either direction and it is flashing amber lights, be prepared to stop. This is a warning sign that the flashing red lights are going to begin. When the red lights are flashing, it means the bus is going to stop to let the students on or off. If you're going to pass a bus with flashing amber lights, pass with caution. When the flashing red lights are going, a stop sign will appear from the left side of the bus. When it does, come to a complete stop at least 20 meters behind it. You must remain stopped until the lights turn off and the sign retracts back into the side of the bus. When you approach your bus from the rear and is flashing amber lights, follow by the same procedure as you would for a highway that was not divided by a median. When you approach a bus from the front and it is flashing either red or amber lights, you may proceed with caution. This is only for a divided highway.
A large vehicle may sway on the highway. Trailers are harder to brake with, and trailers take longer times to accelerate. They have a far bigger blind spot, so be extremely cautious when passing, and they take longer times to perform any maneuver, and they will stop at uncontrolled railway crossings.